Yeah, beautiful. This equation we see on the board is y cubed plus 9x squared y is equal to 10. And y cubed xy squared is equal to 2. These two equations we're supposed to solve for the values of x and y. And it's just an ordinary simultaneous equation, simultaneous equation. So how do you go about it? Okay, somebody will say, why don't you make y cubed the subject? Maybe if we have y cubed 9x squared y is equal to 10 as equation 1, and y cubed plus xy squared to be equals to 2. That's equation 2. Then we substitute by maybe making the y cube the subject. Well, it's not bad, but that will be more complicated and it will make the matters worse. Okay, now let us have a look at this very carefully. If you look at the cubes over there, you see, one thing I would say when you meet such questions, you have to be attentive and analyze the questions very well, and that will give you a clue. And that clue will help you to be able to solve this question. I realized that this question, when we put it on the paper, most students decided not to answer this question. Even though the marks was very big, on the section A, this question was supposed to give the student 50% of the whole percentage. But most of them decided not to take this question. So now, let's see the reason why the student didn't answer this question. Okay, we should bear in mind if we have expansion, if we have a plus b cube, we know that it's always a cube plus a squared b plus ab squared, and finally plus b cubed. And when we look at binomial expansion, we always have 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Okay, so then we have 3, 3, 1. So when we substitute, then here will be 3, and the next one will be 3. So that is what I think it will help us to be able to substitute this. So assuming that if we have we decide to make this x and this 3y, as you can see, we have some 9 over here. That means when we square something and we have some x squared, then we'll be able to expand. So when we do that, so we see that by inspection, okay, this a correspond to the x and the b correspond to the y. Okay, so in short, okay, if we say by inspection, our a is equals to x, for instance, and our b is equals to 3y. If we assume that, then we are making our headway. Okay, now let's see. Now, if that is the case, then our a will be x cubed plus 3, a is still x, so 3x squared times 3y plus 3, a is still x, and b is 3y squared plus, into bracket, 3y again, all squared. Okay, so if we expand it further, then our final answer will be x cubed plus 9x squared y. Then we will gonna get 27xy squared plus 27 again, y cubed. Is it not beautiful? Fantastic. So, if we look at this equation, let me circle this equation or underline it. If you look at this equation very well, you will see that there's certain kind of resemblance. So what I'm going to say is, let's multiply the equation 2 by 27. Okay, so let multiply the equation 2 by 27. Okay, equation 2 by 27 to complete the cube. So, meaning 27 is multiplying our equation 2, which is y cubed plus xy squared is equal to 2. If we do that, then our answer will be equal to 27 y cubed plus 27 xy squared is equals to 54. Okay, so let's call this one equation 3. Fantastic. Now, by adding the equation 2. Okay, so now by adding equation 1 and 3, let add 1 and 3. I think that will be easier. Okay, so equation 1 and 3 will help us to make things easier. So we say by adding equation 1 and 3. So equation 1, okay, by adding equation 1 and equation 3. Okay, so what are we going to get? We're going to get x squared plus s cubed plus 9s squared y, okay, plus 27 y cubed plus 27 xy squared and 54 plus 10. Beautiful. So let me do something over here for us to have a look. You see, is it not beautiful? If we say that when we take this and this out, okay, then we are almost there. Because then our expansion will be, let me demarcate this and that. So this whole equation, okay, we can say that this is x plus 31 cubed. So that will be x, this will be x plus 3y cubed is equal to 64. Okay, isn't that beautiful? Now let's take cube root to both sides of the equation. Let's take cube root to both sides of the equation. Okay, the cube root of that. So now we have x plus 3y cubed is equal to 64. So when we take cube root, okay, cube root of that, this one will be cube root of whole this, and this will be cube root of this. And we all know that the cube root, since we have cube x plus 3y raised to the power cube, meaning that this one, the equation will be x plus 3y equals to 4. Equals to 4. Okay, then let's make x the subject. So this implies that x is equals to 4 minus 3y. Now I'm going to call this equation equation 4. Okay, now I'm going to substitute equation 4 in equation 2. Okay, when we do that, then it's going to be y cubed plus 4 minus 3y and y squared out is equal to 2. All right? Now, if this one is equal to 2, then this is equation that we have to concentrate on. Okay, now let's concentrate on that equation and see what will come out. So when we do that, when we simplify this equation, we all know that this is going to be y cubed plus 4y squared minus 3y cubed is equal to 2. Okay, further simplification will give us y cubed minus 2y squared plus 1 is equal to 0. Straight on, we realize that if we put y equals to 1 into the equation, you see, then y equals to 1 is a factor. Because when we substitute into the equation, we are going to get 1 cubed minus 2 squared plus 1. And this is 1 minus 2 plus 1. Okay, so this will be 0. So y equals to 1 is a factor. If that is the case, then we say that y minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, so this becomes our factor. So we say minus 1 all into this. Okay, our equation, and that's why our equation is y cubed plus minus 2y squared plus 1, yeah, plus 1. That is what we have. So what do? We have to divide this to get the right values. So now this one will go here, y squared, this one will be y squared. Okay, we'll multiply this by that, we're going to get y cubed minus y squared. Then we subtract. When we subtract, okay, we are going to get minus 2y plus that, and that will give us minus y squared plus 0y plus 1. Okay, because this, we have 0y here too. Okay, so now this multiplied by that gives us minus y squared and plus y, okay, then this will give us minus y, okay, this is y. When we subtract this one from that, we get minus y plus 1. And when we multiply that one by that, this one becomes minus y plus 1. We subtract, we get 0, 0. So this one becomes minus 1. So the whole equation then becomes y minus 1 into bracket y squared minus y minus 1 is equal to 0. So when we solve this, we get y equals to 1 for this, and this becomes a quadratic. Okay, so let's distinguish this equation. So this equation y squared minus y minus 1 is equal to 0. We know that our a in this sense, our a is equals to 1, and b is equals to -1, and c is equals to -1. So if we use the general quadratic equation, is equals to -b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, by substitution, our y now will be equals to minus 1 will be positive, so positive plus or minus square root of 5 all over 2. Okay, so values of y that we are able to achieve now is y equals to 1 and y is equals to 1 plus or minus 5, square root of 5 over 2. But we should bear in mind that somewhere along the line, okay, our equation, this equation, can now help us to be able to solve for the values of x. So now we know x is equals to 4 minus 3y. We know that x is equals to 4 minus 3y. Now, let's go back and refer. That is when we got this to be, that is equation 4. Okay, so that is our equation 4. So now let's substitute the values respectively into the equation 4. If we do that, then our equation x is equals to 4 minus 3, then into bracket, our first value we received or we've calculated is 1. So we'll put in over here. Okay, then this will imply that our x is equals to 1. So when s is equals to 1, y is also equals to -1. -1. Because when we do that, okay, so our x 4 with 4 minus 3. Okay, so 1x is equals to 1. Okay, then our y is equals to 1. So this is the first value. So we have 1, 1 as the first coordinate of the equation. Now let's put the same thing. Now we have our x also equals to 4 minus 3 into bracket. Don't forget the equation 1 plus or minus square root of 5 all over 2. Okay, so this is also a solution for x. So now we'll compute this. okay, for x will be equals to 4 minus 3 plus or minus square root of 5 over 2 as one solution, and x is equals to 4, okay, minus 3. Okay, so this, if we look at the equation and we want to break it down, then we'll consider the two conditions. Okay, let's consider the two conditions. If we consider the two conditions, then the first one will be plus, and then the next one will be minus 5 all over 2. So this is another solution. Okay, so when x is equals to these values, okay, our y, as we saw earlier, okay, the value, if you realize the value of y, as we know the values of y to be this, so we can compute gradually to be able to find the values of x. Now, let's try and find the square root of 5. Square root of 5. Let me take my calculator and do that. Square root of 5. Okay. All right. Okay. So the square root of 5 is roughly 2.1 something. So we let's take it to be 2 because for a plot, for instance, so our first x, okay, will be 4 minus 3 plus 2 all over 2. That will give us 4 minus 5 over 2. Okay, then we compute. So this is one will be 8 over 2. So this one will give us 3 over 2 for that. And the other one also is going to be 4, okay, minus 3 minus 2 all over 2. So when we do that, okay, this is normally it's like that. So the 3 minus 2, okay, that will be half. Okay, so it's 8 over 2 minus half. And this will give us 7 over 2. Okay, so now we know the values of x. So that is how we go about this equation. Now, let's recap and let's see how we got our answers. So in the first place, there's the question given to us, all right? And if you look at the question, as I said, we have x cubed plus 9x squared y is equal to 10. And y cubed plus x y squared is equal to 2. So, if you say we're going to make one of the cube the subject and a substitute, it's going to be a long way to be able to break the equation. So, such times, one question of this sort has been given, we have to look at it, but we have to inspect the question vividly. You know, if we do that, that will always give us the clue how to go about it. So over here, because I could see y cubed, I could see 9. That means a certain number multiplied or squared or cubed will give me something like that. And I've also seen, you know, some square of y. So when I look at it, I say, no, this could be a binomial expansion. So if I assume that if I have A and B, then I say A plus B, all raised to the power cube. Since I use binomial expansion, then I'm going to get A cubed plus 3A squared plus B plus 3AB squared plus B cubed. Well, in a resemblance sense, okay, you can see that by inspection, my A is equal to X and B is equal to 3Y. So when I substituted the respective values into the equation, then this yielded S cubed plus 9S squared Y, 27S Y squared plus 27Y cubed. Now, if you look at this, all what comes to mind is, why don't I multiply the equation 2 by 27? Okay, so when you multiply the equation 2 by 27, you see that to complete the cube, you're going to get 27y cubed plus 27xy squared equals 54. Okay, so what do? I say by adding the equation 1 and 3. Okay, this equation 3. Okay, because this is my equation 3. Okay, because this is the equation 3 that I demarcated. So if I call this one equation 3, okay, let's say equation 3 over here. This is equation 3. Okay, so this equation, now look at it. By combining them together, equation 1 and 3, okay, what do I get? Then I will get S cubed plus 9S squared, yeah, plus 27 cubed plus 27xy squared, 54 plus 10. So this, when we look at this, okay, when we look at this, what comes into mind? So 1 and 3, look at it, the equation 1 and 3. Then this give us this equation that made life so easy for us. So this is the equation, okay. Then as by inspection, because you see that this is the same as expanding x plus 3y cubed. Okay, then we took the cube root to both sides of the equation, and finally that is where we got to. Okay, we got to this point that made everything so simple for us, so beautiful. So x plus 3y, then we made x the subject, and we substitute the equation 4 into equation 2. Okay, and we know that our equation 2 is this one, y cubed plus x squared xy squared is equal to 2. So when we did that, okay, and that is where we got to this point, and we simplified it, and we achieved a cube root equation. Okay, this cube root equation. Okay, and it's a polynomial. So, when you look at the nature of the equation and you substitute the value of 1, you will see that it will give a 0, telling us that y is equals to 1 is one of the roots of the polynomial. It's a factor of the polynomial. So then we broke the polynomial further, and our final equation became this: y minus 1 into bracket y squared minus y minus 1 equals to 0. Then we know that y minus 1 equals to 0 means y is equals to 1. Concrete. Now, our concentration have to be on this. Y squared minus y minus 1 equals to 0. It's as quadratic. Look at it. It's this as quadratic in y. This is quadratic, x quadratic, and y. So, if we use the almighty quadratic formula, which we all know what it is, and substituted the respective values into the equation, we had y is equal to plus or minus square root over 2. Then, it means y is equal to 1. Okay? That is one of the roots, and y is equal to 1 plus or minus square root over 2 is also one of the factors. Okay? This is the factors of, or the values of y. So, substituted these respective values into the equation, x is equal to 4 minus 3y. These are the final answers we got. So we have been able to solve the equation. Now we've got the value of x and the values of y. So when we plot the graph, you see that this is a polynomial with a cubic roots. Thank you very much for your time. Well, this is where we can finally part ways. It's been wonderful. I don't understand why, if you don't understand what we've done, you will not contact us for further explanation. Nice having you here. I'm looking forward to see you again. We have more equations coming, more equations, wonderful equations, and the topics that, if you don't understand, you can just, email us or go to the comment section and, propose a topic that you want us to treat. Anyway, I don't want to bother you with all kind of, So have a lovely day, and may our Lord God protect you, and keep safe. The COVID is real. See you around. Bye bye.